That isn't the Holly thing from yesterday. She did it at the start of the video. I've realised at the end of the Martin Frizzell one that I've put out there earlier, I needed to breathe. I went a bit over the top there. I do apologise, viewers. I was in full rant mode. That guy winds me up, he does, honestly. Right, just a couple of things, and this isn't to get extra views. It really isn't. I'm asking your opinions, the viewer, on this. Viewers, what do you think? Again, about Schofield, I'll tell you. I wonder, it's more to do with what two news presenters have said, or two pundits. I still can't get out of my mind the woman on GB News about 10 days ago now that said she knows for a fact Schofield has been with at least one other boy, and she certainly's got a gagging order on him. We haven't heard who he is yet, what age he was, anything like that. We don't even know if it's true. Old Eamon yesterday said at the end of his show, he said, well, Schofield says he's only kissed one boy. I'm telling you now, I think there's more. And if any of you out there have been kissed by Schofield, just get in touch with the programme and we'll air your views, or whatever it may be. I don't think that's a witch hunt on Eamon's behalf. I think what Eamon's trying to prove is that Schofield is still lying, and he's lying at every turn. And it made me think, and I've thought this for a few days now, I don't believe there's only the one boy. I believe there's probably going to be more. The fact that in the BBC interview, when he said to him, is there anybody else? And he said, that's not what this interview's all about. We're discussing this boy. That made me think, that's his way of saying, yes, there's more, but I'm not going to tell you about them. And what he said right at the outset, I think 2 weeks ago now, when somebody said about gagging orders on this boy, and he said, I can tell you now, the original boy, the one we're all talking about, I can tell you now, I've got no gagging orders on that boy. And as far as I know, none of my people have. As I said at the time, none of his people have, as far as he knows. If someone's put a gagging order out on his behalf, he's told them to, so he knows. That makes me think there's a gagging order out there somewhere. But I wonder, have the press, or are the press at the moment, sitting on any stories that they've got that they've not yet told us? And if that isn't the case, are there people out there that are going to come out of the woodwork in the next few days, few weeks, to say, well, I knew Schofield intimately, I've been with Schofield, I was this age, it was this long ago. I'm sure there's going to be, I just feel within the next couple of weeks, there's going to be more coming out of the woodwork, either from the press that they've been sitting on, or directly from people that have had experiences, should we say, with Schofield. I just think there's more to come. I think there's a lot more to come. And if I'm right, and I'm not, this isn't a witch hunt, I say this isn't to get extra views. If I'm right, I would have said, why did Schofield, when he's done those two interviews, the Sun one and the BBC one, not just say it? Let it all come out now, because the sooner he cleanses himself and gets it all out there, then people can have all the views. All people like me on these different channels can say what they've got to say. And in the end, it will die down. Everything does. But the longer he keeps things running and the more he keeps things to himself, the worse it's going to be for him. And the more he's going to be called a liar and whatever else. You know, and to say he's got nothing, yeah, mate, it probably won't work again, but he's got nothing, he's not got this, he's not got... Look, he's probably got, I would suggest, and I don't know, 10, 15, 20 million pounds of properties. Yes, the wife owns half of them, but he can sell them and there's 10 or 12 million. I think I read the other day, old Holly's villa in Portugal is worth, or no, it's a house, is worth 6 million quid. Well, if she's got a £6 million house, him and his wife have probably got one as dear or dearer. Then he's got the posh flat that I think he now lives in the centre of London. They've both got villas in Portugal, that's him and Holly. He's probably got plenty of money in the bank as well. So he's not like somebody like, I mean, he referenced Caroline Flack. When she lost that job, she's just a young girl doing a bit on TV. That was probably everything to her. I mean, that's just not the only reason she's done what she's done to herself. There's more than that. But she wouldn't have had millions of pounds in the bank and a massive property portfolio, anything like that. So losing that gig would have hurt her tremendously. And she's only an impressionable young girl. She probably never had a chance to sit down and calculate things and work things out. And he's a much older guy. You know, I don't for 1 minute think he's near suicide. As I say, you don't do 2 interviews with a newspaper and a TV channel if you're thinking of suicide. That's the last thing you do. You hide yourself away and you probably do it. And no, I don't want him to do it. I don't want anybody throughout this to harm themselves or commit suicide. But I just think there's more to come out, and I just think to myself, why oh why Has he not spilt all the beans? Now he's had a perfect chance. Does he not realise in 2020 when he did his big reveal and come out and said there's been nobody before, there's nobody lined up, he's got to get his head right first and get used to his sexuality before he looks for a partner. He's not looking for anybody. He hasn't been with anybody. He lied then, and then 2-3 years later this all comes out. Surely that shows him that had he have done the right thing then? As I say, if he'd have mentioned these things in 2020, for all it's a younger boy and inappropriate because of his position, and there was an interview, even if it's only a soft groom rather than full-blown grooming, I still think he probably would have kept his job. And although the public had turned him a little, still been in the public eye now, I do honestly. But the fact that he lied to us all and did a book lying to us all and kept it for 3 years before, you know, the truth finally came out, that's what's turned everybody against him. So I think he should have learned from that. And if there's other skeletons in the cupboard, bring them all out now. Bring them all out 2 weeks ago. That's what he should have done. Bring them all out, have them all aired, and then move on from there. But no, Philip, you're not in the same boat as Caroline Fleck. You're probably £20 million in front of her, I would guess. And that might be just your share. But even if it's shared with your wife, even if it's only 10 million, you can do a lot with 10 million quid. You can go and buy a villa in, well, you've got a villa. You can buy a smaller one wherever. You can go and buy a freeholding in south of France and live the rest of your days there with lovely sunshine, lovely orchards and whatever else, and a really nice place, a really nice boat hole. You've got lots of options. You might not do TV again, but you're 61. A lot of people retire at 65 anyway from various jobs, so just class it as a retirement. No reason to kill yourself, but you should have brought it all out, because if there's more, you should have done. If there's not more, then I'm sorry for this video, but I can't believe for one moment there's not more, and I think he should have aired it all 2 weeks ago. But that's just my thoughts. I don't know what yours are.